So, I mean, I feel like we should just start because I love kind of where we're going. Justin and I were talking, Chad, about Justin's, kind of the being from Toronto, right? Born and raised, I presume,
Yeah.
Justin, and still there now.
Still here, yeah.
Yeah, he is. He's like, he started in sports playing hockey, and then because we were talking about what he wanted to talk, what he was comfortable talking about, the stuff we do before we go live, right? And
Sure.
he's like, yeah, I'm not really a big sports guy. And then he kind of started elaborating on that, and it was funny because the start of your story, my story is irrelevant, but the start of your story, it's very much paralleled my life, where I was like, hey, I was super into sports, was really good at sports. You name it, I played it. And then my dad owned a music store, and then I started spending more time in the music store and playing the guitar. And then it just was like I couldn't deal with authority anymore. It was like I just couldn't deal with people telling me what to do, and I would get kicked off baseball teams and not be invited back to the football team. And then at that point, it was just like, okay, then fuck all you guys. It was just like then my shitty attitude, my grades dropped, and then all I wanted to do was rock out. So that's where I think that's what you were alluding to. But to go back to your thing, so you just kind of it being from Canada, you didn't really have much interest in sports
No, and
or
like
hockey specifically
yeah,
is what I
hockey,
yeah.
well, that's really all everybody plays up here. Like it's not like you don't go to school and then there's no like football teams or like high school and stuff. Like it's not like that. There's a hockey team. People play basketball, sort of, but like hockey is like I would say 95% of kids that are like growing up are playing hockey, if they're gonna go into sports up here. Even though it's funny that lacrosse is actually our national sport, but I don't know one.
Hmm.
Um, but
Well,
yeah, I
yeah,
tried.
and
I
according to
got into
Dave,
it.
according to Dave Grohl in the Super Bowl, Canada also invented football. So
Yeah, I think we also invented basketball. Apparently, I don't know.
yeah, well, you invented Rush, and that's
Yeah,
all that matters.
Yeah,
Rush.
and the Trailer Park Boys. So I'm in.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Rush is enough for whatever else people don't like. It's like, well, we gave you Rush, which to some people is like, fuck, you know, we
Yeah.
could have been without that, But I'm of the mind that Rush is one of the greatest bands that ever graced the earth. So, they're like our Led Zeppelin.
What about the Tea Party? How do you feel about the Tea Party?
Fucking awesome. Well, this is the thing. It's so interesting about when I tell like people from America because I spend a lot of time in the States. My band's from there. We do majority of our touring out there. When I try to tell them about the bands that exist up here, bands that are huge up here. There's so many bands that didn't really, I guess, like cross over to the U.S. like the Tea Party, or like there's bands like Big Wreck, fucking awesome.
Big Rec's probably my favorite band on the planet. No kidding.
Probably the best guitar player alive right now. Um, Andy Wood obviously is like him and Andy are kind of like I can't decide which one. I'm like I don't know. They're both so fucking good. But
We're gonna have to send this to Andy. He's gonna get
Yeah.
so incredibly rock hard when he hears this.
got to meet him on the. I'm like I've known about him for a while because like he's done those Sewer Factory jams with Ian, and I'm such a Ian Thornley like junkie. Like we got to tour with them once, which was like unbelievable. But I've seen them play, and I was like really stoked to see him on the boat because, of course, I'm a guitar player myself, and watching guys play like that is just mind blowing. And we got to hang out. I remember we were doing our meet and greet in like the jam room, and he was just there, man. He just walked in just to play guitar. And I walked up, I was like, dude. So you're saying on like your off time, you just show up and you just want to play? He's like, yeah, man, I just love it so much. I'm like, then that's why he's a god.
Yeah, that's right. And he's not even a guitar player first, right?
Yeah, he told me he played mandolin first, I think.
Yeah, yeah. His
Oh.
his primary instrument is the mandolin, and he's a beast on the mandolin too, man. It's as you can imagine, right?
Yeah, because I was like, that's probably how his right hand just got so dialed in, because
Crazy.
he was showing me stuff like because I was just gawking, right, about like his technique, and I was like, oh, well, it makes sense because mandolin you pick everything, and he was doing stuff that like you would think maybe you would do some economy picking or like some sweeping, like this is guitar nerd shit,
Oh
obviously.
no, I'm in. I know. I got you. Yeah.
And he's up down alternate picking everything. I'm like, this is not ergonomic or like
Yeah.
efficient technically, to some people's in some people's eyes, but I was like, that's insane. But I guess it makes sense because the bluegrass thing and the mandolin thing is like you're picking everything. You
Well,
know?
and the interesting thing about the mandolin too is the strings are so close together that you don't need to economy pick. You can just get. I mean, it's like everything is so close that there are smaller movements, right? The distance between the strings.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I also heard that. Yeah, Al, I heard that you're a really, really good guitar player as well. I heard
It
of
is.
do you have difficulty hearing? Because
I
I
thought you were
think
gonna say
that
you got 10 minutes.
because I feel like that you heard wrong. I think somebody told you that they said he's terrible
Somebody,
because that's how I feel about myself as a
Oh, come on.
I do, man.
He,
I hate it. Like, it's like you just here's the thing for me, I don't have as much time to devote to it as I would like to. And that's really sometimes like in the summer when it gets slow for my job, I can really kind of play maybe 45 minutes a day kind of thing and work on something and get better at a particular thing. And then when my band goes and plays, it's like I feel more comfortable on stage and everything kind of is looser and in a good way looser. All my muscles and the muscle memory's there. But man, Shiprocked is a tough vehicle for me because I get up there and I'm so busy doing other stuff. And then I got up and played a couple songs and it's like for me, and I appreciate you saying that. That's super kind, and people do think that I'm a good guitar player. And it's very kind, but I just see it as it's a work in progress for sure.
yeah, man. I mean, it always is. It's like
Yeah,
the never-ending grind. I mean, like especially like again, like after seeing Andy play on that boat, I've actually practiced more than I have in years.
and that's what should happen, right? That should be the byproduct of that, rather than burning your instruments.
Right. Yeah, because there's two kinds of people. There's people that are like,
Yeah,
fuck that, I'm just gonna give up. Or I'm gonna actually try to I'm gonna aspire to be that good. And I know that like realistically I'll never get that good, but it's enough, it's enough to like inspire me to actually try to, because man, his picking is just so good. I was like,
yeah,
I gotta work on that.
yeah. It's great. So Chad, welcome in.
hey,
Yeah,
hey, I wanted to. I mean, are we starting? Are we good? We
we've
usually
we're rolling, man.
sick.
I
It's even
kind of I
better.
like the soft openings a little bit
I
because
mean,
we were
every
already
time.
talking and
Yeah,
let's
don't fuck
go.
it up.
Yeah.
I just fucked it up, so I apologize. But
No, edit. We'll edit, baby.
I just didn't want to come in with the heat until I knew we were on the record. With that being said, dude, Joel Hamilton,
Yeah.
that is a fucking rad. This was your, if I mean, I've everything I've read is your Broken Love's debut full length, right? And then you did the trickle down and everything leading up to, because I think I was getting you on my release radar back in 2019 or something, and then the record came out right in 2022 or 20. 22
Uh,
full length.
the first record came out 2020. It came out Valentine's Day 2020, like two
That's
or three
right.
before the pandemic started.
That's
Such
right.
course. But looking back, I remember when it came out because nobody will forget when everything went down.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I
pretty,
remember how it was.
you know.
But Black Box was 2022, and that's the Joel Hamilton record, or did he do both?
No, Joel did the debut record, and then a dude named Anton DeLost did Black Box.
I got it mixed up. Okay, so just pretend I didn't say that.
Yeah.
Joel Hamilton. How was working with Joel Hamilton? I love that dude's production, man. What he's able to do on tape. You
Yeah,
fucking sound awesome on it, by the way.
thank you. He's it's fantastic, working with a guy like that. He's very like deliberate. He like I love the choices he makes and the choices he sticks by. Like recording with him is different than the guys with other guys I've worked with before, because we made that first record in like a week,
Mhm.
and it was like, we're gonna sit there and we're gonna do a million takes of this, or we're gonna do a million takes of that. I would be like warming up, playing, getting the tone going, whatever on the guitar, and then I'd be like, all right, let's go. And he's like, nope, that's the take.
It's weird. I mean, I recorded a record with Steve Evans, who's also renowned for doing the same exact production technique. Is like you got to commit, right?
Yeah.
The idea of like using the digital tools is great, but when the tape starts rolling, that means like when I press record, it's just think about it like you're paying for tape, because it's about the moment that you're in, and overthinking it always squeezes the juice too hard. And I think that, like, if anything, I don't know if you recorded any full length records with anybody else beforehand, knowing that Joel was the first of the full length. That's probably a really good experience to have at the jump, you know.
It was definitely a very it was like kind of liberating in the sense that we like kind of weren't precious about a lot of things, you know.
Yep.
And it was, and again, like I mean, like you said, when the tape rolls, it's like you better fucking play, you know. And of course, like, you know, listening back to it now, and obviously, like, there's mistakes on the record. There's like some timing stuff. There's some bunk, you know, notes that I didn't sing perfectly. But I think that all adds to like the magic of it. You know, it gives it character, which is, I feel like, I don't want to say it's not like I don't know how to put this the right way, but I would say that like perfection is kind of prevalent now. You know, a lot of things are chopped up and hyper compressed, and like there's a world for that, 100%. You know, it was just cool, and I think kind of different to kind of go at it this different way, and it sort of ended up, you know, cultivating into this, I guess, signature sound or whatever, you know, people might say. But you know, because I kind of see us as a more like raw, kind of organic, just kind of like almost, I don't want to say vintage, but I guess like we like to kind of treat our records kind of like the classic rock bands did, where, you know, you just kind of lay it down and you just play. And then, you know, if the magic is there, if the take is good, fine. But if the feeling is like, if the feeling is there, then that's all that really matters to us, you know?
It
like
transcends.
we can make anything perfect in the studio. We could sit there ad nauseum and just like do 1,000 takes of something and polish it out, but that's not how anybody really plays, you know. Like, so it's cool because then when we play live, people are like, "Oh, you guys sound just like the record." It's like, well,
that's what we did.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know?
So Joel was the first. Joel was the record in 2020.
Yes.
Right. But you did take that same vibe and feeling and Band in the Room recording for the new recording too, right?
Sort of. We actually kind of, I guess it was actually it was actually a lot different than the first record. Because the way Anton kind of does things, he's a little bit more slow. I don't want to say slow. I don't know. He's slower in the process, where he likes to take more time and kind of think through things a little bit more. And of course, there's merit to like all these approaches. And I actually enjoyed doing it that way too, because for that record, we actually didn't even have the songs fully written. So we were like writing it as we were going. So like you know, having the advantage of using Pro Tools and stuff, and like plugging things in just for like song building and writing songs as a writing tool was pretty it was efficiently done doing it that way. And it was nice because like we actually ended up, it's funny because I'm sure like a lot of bands, they record bass and drums first, you know, and then you do guitars and you do vocals last. We actually did guitars first, then bass, vocals, and then we did drums last with Anton, which was really cool. I actually kind of enjoyed that because it gave us the freedom to be like, you know, 2 weeks into the process going, you know what, actually on this song, we should add this and then we can do it. Because once the drums are down, you're like, that's it. Like
you're trapped. Yeah.
You know, so there was actually, it was actually a lot different than the first record. And you know, the first record was a band. It was a trio at the time that was just live off the floor. And Black Box was really just me and one of my best friends played the drums on the record. So I dubbed all the parts. So obviously we couldn't play it at the same time, but we were still like recording it in a way that would still make it like live enough. Like I was doing full takes, you know, we were committing to full takes. I would sing the song down like 3 times and we'd do a comp or like kind of stuff like that, to still give it that kind of live feel. You know, some of the songs don't have like a click track, you know, we just kind of grooved with it again, you know, to still kind of capture some of that. But we had to deliberately choose, like we had to make it as a step up from the last record. Of course, you know, you want things to sound bigger and bigger. And I think the little bit more polish we added on it is like a necessary evolution, I guess, you know, for it to just sound bigger. Now it's like making me think, I'm like, well, what are we gonna do on the third record?
Yeah. Track vocals first.
AI.
AI. We're going chat GPT the whole way.
Yeah. Write all of our songs for us. They'll write them better than we know how to do it, honestly.
Write me a love song in the style of Harry Styles.
So today I was out. I had a couple projects going on, and my son and I were in the car, and I just actually bought a house to flip And we've been, you know, ripping up floors and this kind of stuff. And my son and I was like, hey, I learned I gotta host a podcast tonight, which is not unusual. I was like, I want to really dig into the music. So we listened to both records today, and we were in the car at one point. My son was like, he's 13. He's like, Dad, and he'd never heard you before.
Yeah.
He's like, Dad, he's like, I really want to see these guys live.
That's awesome.
And it was just cool because I mean, honestly, I don't know why I'm whispering, but I don't know why. I don't think he's ever said that to me. So that was super cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
So a couple impressions of, you know, of really diving in. Cause, you know, for me, we hear the bands, we book the bands, and then it's like, oh, let's prepare for a big festival for, you know, my world. Right. But I had it on the radio, and then I had a little Craftsman boom box at the job site, and then I had it on at home on my HomePod or whatever it is. And there's so many. I was totally thinking about Big Wreck, and I did not. And here's the truth. I did not know you were from Canada. I didn't know that this was a Toronto thing until Chad updated our notes today. I heard Big Wreck. I absolutely heard Rush. I heard Alice in Chains. I heard Nirvana. I heard modern stuff. I heard like Highly Suspect. I heard I'll just say, I wish that I had seen more than 30 seconds of your show on the ship because again, full disclosure, I see about 30 seconds of every show because
That's actually great.
I mean, yeah, you got 30 seconds. You're welcome. No, but I had 2 or 3 of my best friends in the world were on the cruise, and they told me that they said you blew the doors off of it, both shows. They couldn't believe how great it was. And we'll get into Shiprocked here in a minute, but the records still feel like, the reason I asked you about whether it was like the band in the room, whatever the process was, it still felt really, all of it kind of felt off the grid to me. There was obviously there's some songs that have the arrangements, you know, there's the tempo changes, right. And there's like, and it comes back into the regular tempo, whatever. And those are kind of on purpose, but it really feels like and obviously it's not, because it's you doing most everything but the drums, but there's the effort to make it feel organic and let it come off the cuff is really translated into the music for sure. And I love the fact about your singing. The thing I love about it is, and Chad can vouch for me, I generally don't say this about everybody for obvious reasons, but the thing I love about your singing is it's obvious to me that you are capable of singing more in a lot of places, but you don't. And that restraint and those musical choices are super very refreshing and very and really up my alley. So I enjoy diving in today. So thank you for making my day. And it won't just be today where I'm consuming your music. I'm definitely a fan and definitely hooked. And I think the sky's the limit. You guys and you in particular, it's like, I feel like just keep grinding and keep expanding and keep doing your thing, man. It's really great stuff. And I think I may have peaked too soon. I think I should have saved this till the last 5 minutes.
Well, that's a great ending.
and with that, Justin.
Well, I love that. You know, I thank you for all the kind words. Also, I mean, I love that you said that about deliberate choices with the vocals, because that's, I mean, you know, yeah, I know you only caught 30 seconds of the set, but like live, I go kind of crazy on a lot of stuff, you know, but it's intentionally set up that way because, like, I feel like if you leave it all on the record, first of all, I'm gonna have to commit to it.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna have to hit all the crazy notes, you know. I don't know, but it also lets people like know live. It's like we want the live show to sound bigger. We want it to sound better. You know, we want to expand on everything that we do. And for sure, I mean, I'm a big believer of like, you know, if you can, should you? You know, I don't know if you always need a wank if that's your thing. I feel like that kind of annoying sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
And
if you do have a wank, again, keep a couple bullets in the holster, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I call them napkins, but yeah.
different kind of wank, Chad.
That's my bad.
Come on, we got Justin here. He's from Canada. He's so nice and polite, and here you go, dick joking it, you know, which I love.
That's fine. It's fine with me too. Yeah.
I think I did see your set. I saw not the whole not the whole of the first one, but I think the whole of the second one. Everything that you guys have been chatting about your energy and how you're holstering it with bullets in the side, like that's the point of, like, I think in these situations where you've done some pretty cool touring. Well, let me back up. You've done some pretty cool touring after, since the first records come out. You've toured with Pop Evils, Dead Poet Society, Blue Stones, Bad Flower, 68. Who else? I think I saw Zero. So like you're in this like area of these acts specifically that are like burgeoning and bustling about the break, right? And I think like it's the company that you keep in that space too. Like I even see the Canadian acts that you're playing with, like the Blue Stones, and Cleopatra is that. I mean, another two. Well, they're a two-piece, right, or something that might be for. Yeah, but I keep my finger on the pulse and I watch it all. And then I came on the ship because I've heard your band name and never seen you live. A little transparency. I was a talent buyer for 15 years, and I tried to get you guys to play your first Michigan show. I'm here in Detroit. First Michigan show for one of our rooms. Yeah. But then you ended up playing at, I think, the Shelter or something of that sort. Yeah. So I couldn't make it to the show, but I've been a fan because Brian showed me the band. So I was excited, is where I'm getting at, to see you play. You harness the craziness. You guys are put together well. You sound incredible well. But after you were done, I still wanted to see more.
Yeah.
And as like, I've toured for a long time. I've been on the ship 10 times now. I've seen, so I see those bands, and specifically I always watch the new blood that comes on there, because I was once too the new blood that came on there, and I want to see how that feels. Right. And you have something special to you guys, man. Like, I don't know how to describe it other than saying, I can't wait to see what those bullets sound and look and feel like as your career moves on, because I can tell that you guys are gonna have a great one. So,
thanks, man. I appreciate.
Yeah, man. No, not to be too cheesy, but I think you crush.
One and more. That's good. I mean, we kind of hope that's the. I hope that people see us and go, "All right, I've had enough."
And it's hard after an hour of a new band that you don't know potentially more than one or two of the songs. To be invested and be like, dude, you should play some more songs that I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's fun for us too, because we didn't know how long the sets were going to be on the ship. So we we didn't play two different sets, but we did play like different songs, both nights, not entirely different. But like the freedom, I think what's fun about my band is because we don't play with any tracks or anything. We don't play with there's no like bells and whistles kind of going on. And I'm not like, there's no comment on that. Like that's, I don't have an opinion. It's just the way we do it. It gives us like the freedom to just kind of like fuck around, So like there's moments in the set where we turn around and we go, okay, Russell, you're going to do a drum solo, or like we'll like say something off mic and we'll be like, okay, we're going to do that. Let's do that thing. You know what I mean? And we'll just kind of have fun with it and just kind of see what happens. And I kind of like the organized chaos of it all, because it kind of keeps it fresh. Like every night we get on stage, we didn't even know what songs we were going to play on the boat. We literally like sound checked that first day, and we didn't rehearse. We didn't do anything. I mean, the last time we played was we'd finished a tour with the Blue Stones like maybe a month and a half before or something, and that was the last time we saw each other, and we didn't really prep for this, so we just said, fuck it, what do you want to play? And we just kind of took it on the chin, and I think it went all right. I think it went okay. It is a little weird when you don't get to like warm up with a couple shows, or at least rehearse. Like the first show was definitely colder than the second one. The second one was a banger, man. I had so much fun on the Ocean Plaza stage. That was great. I didn't expect it to be as filled out as it was too. I was like, holy shit, maybe the word got around or something.
It did. Yeah, it did. It definitely did. That happens. Yeah.
I was shocked. Because like I think we also got really lucky with the time slot. I think that we were slotted between, I think like Non-Point was on right before us or something, or then maybe like Wage War or Nothing More. Like we were like slotted at a perfect time too, where I think like it granted us the opportunity to have people come.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, definitely not a coincidence.
It was. Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah. How long has this iteration of the band been together? Like, because you say that it's like you open yourself up to have those spontaneous moments, and I always found like playing Spontaneity is also really cool. where it's like you plan on doing that thing that you did a couple gigs ago. It's like where we're going to start this thing and then we're going to wind up going into the song a certain way or whatever. But having some kind of plan for that, I find to be really fulfilling as a musician, where it's like you're playing and all of a sudden it leads to another thing, and then you put that in your toolbox and you're like, okay, next gig we're gonna, like, somebody cues you off or somebody says something, it's like, oh yeah, we do that thing, don't we? Right.
Yeah,
So how long, but that takes chemistry, right? It takes
Yeah.
chemistry and experience and talent probably being third on the list. What is, not that you're lacking it, but it's, let's face it, talent is one thing, but working and experience is a whole other element to it. What, so the God, that was I'm going to shut up. But how long has that iteration of the band been together? And is there that kind of camaraderie and experience together, a oneness that you draw on in those situations?
Do you mean like the iteration of the band is in the lineup, or
The lineup, yeah, the live band.
So it's been this band for, I want to say 4 years. It's like kind of hard to, people ask me like how long we've been a band for, and it's like hard to answer because like COVID kind of fucked us for like a year. Like we were really a band for like a year and change before COVID, and then obviously we lost all that time. It's like in my mind, we've only been a band for like 3 years,
Right.
but like technically, I think we've been together for like almost 5 now.
But it's the same guys that started, and forgive my ignorance. Right. That's where I'm going with it. It's like, how long is, like, what's the long stretch of guys all being together and having played together?
This lineup has been together for, I think, about like 3 years, 4 years almost. We had another drummer for a little bit at the beginning of the band. Um, and then things, it just didn't work out. But no, this band is pretty much, we've never toured actually with anybody but this lineup.
There you go. Okay. Yep.
Guys on all the tours. We did one-offs and stuff before with different guys, but it's been this band pretty much since we've hit the road.
And you mentioned the recording process where you're playing a lot of most of the instruments other than the drums for the most part, right? What is the creative process with the band as far as writing and that kind of thing? Is it, hey guys, here are these songs that I wrote, we're going to get together in a room, rehearse them, and go play them? Or how does the whole thing work? How does the machine work?
So, yeah, I mean, it kind of is like that. Like, I mean, I didn't have like the good fortune to meet my band before I made my first record. So that first record was, yeah, I just have these songs, and then I got two of my buddies who just played bass and drums. The second record ended up kind of being the same way, just because it was untimely again, like, because Canada was going through things with COVID stuff and like all the restrictions. So like kind of made it really hard for us to do it together in Canada, because that's the producer we used this time was based in Toronto. So I ended up doing it on my own again. And for this next record, we're starting to kind of branch out and do things together. Again, it's kind of tough because they live in New York and I live in Toronto.
That was my question.
So we could do like the Zoom thing, I know it's very modern now, and that kind of like took off like over COVID, like for sessions and stuff, but it's not like ideal to me, So we have been trying stuff, like they came up here like a week or two ago and we worked on some stuff, and I might go down there in a bit and just see what happens. But generally speaking, it's usually just me in my room here, and I like you see, I got my drum. I'm not really a great drummer, but like I can kind of
know enough, yeah,
work out stuff. So it helps when because I just program them like for demos and stuff. But I'll just build a bunch of demos here, and I just do it all in my room pretty much. I want to say like 95% of the time it's mainly just that.
There's a band called I think you toured with them, Dinosaur Pilot.
Yeah. Great.
So
band.
Matt, yeah. he does the same, well, at least had traditionally done the same thing, right? I don't know if you guys got into that writing process, but until the last couple of records, it was those guys he got to play with him permanently came in there. So that was my question, is because I didn't know this until you just talked about it, how if you're in Toronto, is everybody else in Toronto? Because I saw that you did live in New York and then also in LA, but I'm assuming that's probably around making music happen, right? Or is it a full move?
Okay. I mean, I did a full move to LA. That was for real. Like I lived there for about 3 years. And that was all like before any of this happened. I mean, it was in pursuit of, the dream, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, Matt it's similar with Matt. I mean, like he actually played everything, I think, on those first few records.
Yeah. I think even drums. I
Yeah,
can't
he
remember
did
what he
drums
said.
too.
Yeah.
And I wish I was good enough to play. Like, if I was like super like egoistic and like needed to like have my name on all like the credits, then I would maybe take a crack at it. But like, it would definitely be worse than having a guy that can actually play the drums play.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. Like, I'm not all about like it doesn't matter. I don't need to fucking have the credit. If it's gonna make the song better to have somebody else do it, then like by all means, let's get a real drummer in there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, it is cool. Like sometimes when you're in the studio, you're like, oh, I'm gonna play the piano part, and it's just like you're just pedaling like one chord. And I'm like, yeah, so I can get the piano credit,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then people are like, oh, multi-instrumentalist. It's like, no, I just play one chord.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a light on the key actually that showed me exactly
No,
which
it was
note.
actually it was just MIDI, we just fucking
Yeah. And then drag the MIDI around till it sounds good. Yeah. Yeah.
It's my favorite part of like knowing the shit out of whoever's about around you is to take a MIDI note, right? And take your whatever head device you're wearing, like ear pods or headphones on, put it full fucking studio speakers and just lay into the fucking MIDI note up and down the different places that it can make noises in front of everybody. It's the worst.
I love doing that like when my friends come over because a lot of my friends have no idea how like demos are built. So when I like show them the way I program drums, it like freaks them out.
Yeah.
They're like, "Wow, that's so cool!" And like a lot of them are like, "Why do you even need a real drummer?"
Yeah. And you're like, that's a great question.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
But we still do. I mean, there's a lot of people that use program drums now. I think there's definitely like like again, there's something to be said about the sound of that, or like super compressed, like there's super. You can get a lot of cool things. Like we just like to do it real and raw. It is funny, like with some of the producers that I know, like how many tracks would be like, oh yeah, I'll get this and I'll reprogram all the drums. Like
Yeah.
it's like so
Yeah.
much stuff that people do.
Well, and it's you can tell. I mean, you can just tell because it all and look, it all does sound it starts to sound the same because there's the techniques that everyone uses, and it's I mean, how many sample libraries are there? I mean, I guess there's
Right.
a lot, but they're pulling
Yeah.
those samples, right? Is okay, so the producer most recent producer, what's his name again? Sorry.
His name Anton DeLost.
Okay.
Canada.
What's Anton's history?
So he actually his like thing that I was attracted to is like he did the Cleopatra
Okay,
hometown
there you
EP,
go. Okay.
which is funny because I didn't know that when I first met him. Like we were put together by like his publisher at the time, who's now my publisher, and like we were talking, he's like, oh, who you tour with? And like I was like, oh, we've been on with these guys, Cleopatra. He's like, oh, Cleopatra, because I did the hometown EP, and I was like, oh fuck, that's sick. Because I love that band, and I would consider them friends of ours. And he does a lot, like he does a lot of like pop punk stuff. He does like Seaway and like State Champs, and he's kind of he actually is doing the new Dead Poet Society record. He just did the last Saint Sonia record. He's kind of making waves right now. It's pretty awesome. Like he just moved to LA. He's like a big shot guy now.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah, technically, Justin, you are making waves right now.
oh,
Oh man,
Yeah.
that was freaking
Yeah.
that was a bullet in the chamber.
I mean, you went right past it, and I took it all in.
totally flew over my head, man.
Is Anton a drummer?
He is he is a drummer. So
Yeah, you can tell how that record was produced because I put it in, like I said, I jammed it all day today in every format you could have, well, 3 formats, and the drums cut your head off in such a good way on every device I listened to, the car, the little boom box, and then at home. Like on every one of those instances, the drums were they just throttle you, not in a bad way, not in like a Saint Anger kind of way.
right. We also we had the sorry, I don't mean
no, go ahead. Yeah.
We had the good fortune of we got to record the drums for Black Box in the room that Neil Peart like basically like engineered. So like there's a studio downtown Toronto called Revolution, and when they made the Clockwork Angels record, which is the last Rush record, they literally built this like a room just for Neil like to do drums in. So it's like all his specs. It's like all like he was like a wizard. So
Yeah.
like it's all dialed into the way Neil wanted it. So the drums in that room, just I think it's the best drum room, you know, in Canada at least. I know there's some great stuff in the US, but we got really lucky. Like the drum sounds like you hear on the record, it's like that's the way they came out, you know, like it's not and all the sampling and stuff is like we it's like it's our own samples
Yeah.
as
Right.
Yeah, you can tell. I mean, and here's the thing: I don't even feel like it matters how you get to it, how you get to them, because they sound great and they sound real, and it doesn't sound overly processed to me. And I couldn't tell. I'm like, they could be, they may be real, they may be fake. I don't care. They sound great, and they set in the mix. They sit and set in the mix really well. And I just, it's funny because he's a drummer first, and I was like, I wonder if, you know, so.
yeah, he's like low key. He's like actually a really really good drummer, which was nice for me because like I could play, but like obviously like my knowledge of how to like program stuff, it's obviously like my drumming repertoire isn't that deep. So like I can't come up with like the most elaborate ideas on the drums. So having him there and writing pretty much most of the record with him, the drum some of those drum grooves I would have never thought of, you know, if he hadn't had like you know a background in just being a great drummer.
Yeah, I mean, there was one song specifically where it was a straight beat, and then the last measure was a swing. I was
Mhm.
like, "What are they doing rhythmically?" And then I'm like, "Okay, that wasn't an accident because they just did it twice in a row." I forget what song it was, but there's a part, maybe it's a breakdown where it's a straight beat that almost swings, and then the last bar like completely swings, like very much on purpose. I don't know if that rings a bell, but I'll have to circle back and maybe I'll put that.
I'm like so like musically like inept. Like I don't like know the theory stuff super well. And like on my band is funny because they're all like music school guys. So they like know all their scales and like the
Yeah.
voice, like the terminology and stuff. And I'm like pretty much completely self-taught off like YouTube and stuff. So like I like know what sounds right, you know.
That's all that matters is if it
Yeah.
sounds good. Totally all that's all that matters, man.
So
Like
funny.
How did you meet them, by the way?
I met
The
them.
guys.
So like the like the short version is like basically we were the first record was done, so we needed a band, and we had like a typical like audition process, but like we kind of fished for these guys like through a couple means. Like uh, my manager's boyfriend at the time, great bass player, like Broadway guy. He recommended Nick because he was like, this kid's amazing, you know. And he was like, he played on Hamilton and stuff, so he like knew what he was talking about. And so he was like, yeah, you should bring in this guy Nick Katz. And Nick brought Russell because they went to high school with each other, and they've been playing for
Oh,
years. And like it's obviously like when your rhythm section like is familiar with each other, it makes all the difference.
yeah.
So he was like, yeah, I'll bring in Russell. And then we met Kyle. We just cold emailed a bunch of people, and we sent an email to like one of the NYU like profs, like music guys.
Oh,
You know, we were like, hey, here's some songs. You know, we're looking for a cool rocker dude. Blah 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 blah. And the dude hit back, and he was like, Kyle Duke, he's your guy. And like all these guys were pretty much like I mean, Kyle was the first guitar player that we auditioned, and it was like, okay, that's done. And then I think Nick was maybe the second or third bass player. And that was, and then when he brought in Russell, we were like, okay, you know, this is pretty much done deal right off the bat. We also like gelled really quickly, and like our influences were very similar, and the type of playing that we liked was very similar. So it kind of just gelled immediately. And also like going in, like of course, like you know, to me they were all strangers at first, but having like Nick and Russell's relationship already be like cemented there helped the chemistry of it like just kind of take off right off the top. Because obviously there's that it's like one step like is already they already know each other, so we don't have there's like a little bit of awkwardness we can get by.
Hmm.
I mean, it is always interesting like when you're meeting guys and they're just like playing your songs and you're just like, okay, well, I guess we're a band, you know.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
guess you live here now.
yeah, like I've done that a few times in the past. Like I've had bands before this band that were similar, you know, like I would kind of handle all the creative stuff, and then we would just kind of audition people to kind of be in the group because it's kind of always been my project. It's kind of always been my thing. And I mean, now I would say like we're like a legitimate band, you know, those guys like my brothers, like we're like, you know, four peas in a pod,
Mhm.
you know, and they make life a lot easier because they really play the fuck out of all their instruments, you know.
Yeah, that's
It's
got to
nice
be helpful.
when guys that can really play, like, dude, my guys can play. So it's like anything you throw at them, they're like, oh yeah, no problem. Like, you know, there's no limitations for like what is possible because everybody is super, super capable. It's like beyond, you know. Like when people ask me who my favorite, people are like, oh, who's your favorite bass player? I'm like Nick Katz, like
Yeah.
without
Yeah.
you know, like, you know, it's like not even funny how good like these guys are. So I'm just grateful to have them around, and it's cool that we get to we're constantly challenging each other. You know,
Yeah.
we're all keeping each other on our toes all the time. It's like it just makes it that much more fun, and it makes it easier when I know every night we get on stage, I don't have to worry that like somebody's gonna have a bunk show because maybe they can't do this or maybe they can't improvise on the spot. It's like any one of my guys, if you just be like, you know, if I had to like throw up or something like that, I could be like, Kyle, take a fucking 10-minute guitar solo, and it would be like piece of cake for him, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Be that, and that's the trust, right, of musicians. Right? Because your band guys probably, I mean, that's the most important part of being in a band, I think, is not your playing, it's your listening, man. Like you got to listen to what else is happening and know where you fit, right? And that's the thing about a lot of bands. You can tell they're not listening to what the singer's doing. They're not
Right.
listening to what the bass player or anybody else is doing, but what they're focused on. And
Right.
like, and that to me, what separates a good musician from a great musician is a musician that can play and listen at the same time.
Right. And 100%. And like that's what again what's super fun about my band too is like maybe we'll be doing this song and then on the second verse Kyle will throw in this riff and then like we'll all hear it and then the next time it comes around we'll all hit it together and we all kind of
Yeah,
give each
that's right.
other
Yeah,
like you know it
yeah,
makes it fun because we're all pretty attentive, you know, obviously with that.
yeah.
But
Let's chat briefly about your shiprocked experience, and then Chad and I are going to make you walk the plank.
okay.
So shiprocked, it was your first time. What was your takeaway? What was the best? What was the worst? Give us a brief synopsis.
And overall, it was so much fun. Like I've never been on a cruise before. I think actually everybody in my band, like nobody had been on a cruise before, so we didn't really know what to expect. And we had heard so many great things about it. Like I mean, our buddies in a band called World Tusk, they had done it, you know, right before we toured with them, and then I think, Jacoby from like all the Papa Roach guys were like, "This is gonna be insane! Like, just get ready." You know, it was a bunch of bands that were like, "It's gonna be awesome." So we didn't really know what to expect. But honestly, if I was ever going to go on a cruise again, it has to be that one.
Yeah. Well, if you once you go on a regular cruise that's not a music themed cruise, you're going to be bored out of your mind.
And
Yeah.
like,
It's just yeah.
well, everybody was having a good time. It's like even the staff, because we just like started hanging out with like just like the cruise staff, you know, not even the shiprock, because it's like the regular
Mhm.
like carnival, and they were like, you don't understand how amazing this is for us because like
Yeah.
you know, everybody's just kind of chilling. You kind of do whatever you want. You know, people are just like drinking at like 10 in the morning. It's like whatever, you know, it's like do whatever's fun. And it was just cool, you know, to be like on a boat with a bunch of other great musicians. So you're like, and everybody's just together like that. I get that's probably like one of the main points is like everybody's just kind of in the same space. Everywhere you go, there's like somebody in this band is chilling, or like, oh, there's Randy Blythe, and you're like, holy fuck, you know, or and getting to interact with the people that are like, you know, fans. It's like everywhere you go, there's somebody that wants to talk to you, and it's cool for guys like us because like we're not a big band, and obviously it was our first time on Shiprock, so it was cool to see the response from people and how many people were like interested in like talking to us,
Mhm.
you know, and just getting to know us. And obviously, you know, above all, there's a lot of great music to see as well. You know, like some of my favorites, like I think my favorites were other than the oh my god, other than like the Stowaways, which was just always awesome. I think like Aaron Jones and Nonpoint were like my two favorite. I just had a blast watching those guys.
Yeah.
It was cool because we had met some of the Nonpoint guys like a couple months before. We done like a live session for like Amazon that happened to be at like we didn't know like it just happened to be at the studio that they work at in Chicago.
Oh yeah.
So we got to meet like the front of house, and like Rashid, the guitar player, was there. So we like already had like a prior relationship going in, which was really cool. And again, like it was cool to see guys we would tour with, like, you know, like Joey from Bad Flower, like we had done a Bad Flower tour and like we're homies, and you know, seeing I'm trying to think of a couple more off the top of my head. I'm probably just gonna fuck this up, but you know, there was people we had known that were gonna be on the ship as well, so that was cool. And other crew guys too, like, 'cause you know the way the rock crews work, like they kind of mix and match. People jump to this band, and now they're doing front of house for this band, or you know, so that was really cool. Also, I also loved being in the casino every night till like 6 a.m.
What's your game?
Yeah.
I actually didn't gamble at all, which was great.
Oh, no kidding. Okay, so just the hang. That was your vibe.
Well,
Yeah.
that was like one of my favorite parts of it. I just knew that every night, if you want to go and like, you know, just have fun, we just show up at the casino at like 1 o'clock, and every band there, you know, like, you know, the hardcore partiers are there, and like we all drink half off, and like, you know, it was just so much fun. I like, and every night, it was like every single night we'd be there and the sun would start rising. We'd have pizza on, you know,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh fuck, here we go. And like 5 days in, I'm like, I can't believe I'm still doing this.
Chad, hey, side note for Chad, it sounds like he really did it. Am I right?
He really did do it.
You really did do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because a lot of even guests don't really do, but that's how you do Shiprocked. It's like you're up late and you don't have to get fucked up out of your mind, but just like drink, you know, be in moderation, because the buzz, like the environmental buzz, just carries through till daybreak, man. You know, it's like, so I'm proud of you, man. You did it right.
Seriously.
You made me proud, man. You make me proud.
It destroyed my sleep schedule for like a month. Because like I was backwards, man. I was like nocturnal. Like I was up till like 6, going to bed at like 6, 7 in the morning. And then I don't think I made it off the boat one day. I got off I think I made it off for Turks and Caicos, I think.
Yeah.
The other days, like I was sleeping, you know?
Yeah, the weakest of the 3 ports, in my humble opinion.
Oh, wow.
But it's okay, man. You know, Amber Cove is where they shot Jurassic Park, so you kind of miss the the look of that island, which is second to none. It's one of the best islands we've been to. But you know, next time, man, we'll get
next time. Well, I know that the problem is like I was staying up so late and like just doing the hang. Like I couldn't wake up early in the morning. By the time I was like getting up, basically, or like falling asleep, I feel like the boat was docking some days.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, you did do it right, man. That's the way.
You did.
Did you play any shows afterwards?
Since then, no. So we've kind of just been. Well, actually, we're making a new record in May. I'm going in to record it, so I'm kind of in like writing mode.
Okay.
Right? And then, you know, we have some stuff like we have stuff we're gonna announce like soon, and we don't have anything like announced officially yet, but we're gonna be busy over the summer.
I didn't know if you guys like had gotten off the boat and you're like, all right, off to our next gig, because I know that feeling, and that's
something, right?
There will never be a worse gig than that show. No matter if you think you crush it, your body is just like, you're not even seeing people straight because you're still having like a little bit of this, you know, your whole equilibrium is all messed up. And I just wanted to know if you guys stepped on stage after that, because it's fucking, we were another world.
I needed like a week to recover from that. I mean, like I think I got home and I slept for like 14 hours or something like that. It was a disaster.
Yeah,
that's the way.
I mean, I had so much fun. I just got so like carried away in the whole thing, you know, like I just couldn't stop, you know?
So we'll, you know, we generally don't have, we have some repeats bands year after year. It just depends, right? But I definitely would love to chat with you about maybe coming on as a stowaway and see if we can work that out. If we can't do the band thing, maybe you'd be interested in coming. We'll talk about that as that comes together, because I think you'd be a really fun fit for that as well. So
absolutely,
as Chad and Andy, because you know, Chad and Andy and I are the kind of the brains behind that now, and so as we put that together, we'll definitely put your name in the hat for that and see if you might be interested in that. If it all works out, it just depends on how it all goes, you know.
I mean, we would love anything. I mean, dude, if we could come back, it'd be fucking great. Like after doing this, I was like, holy fuck, I could see why bands are like, every rock band we talked to that had done it was like, oh man, you're gonna have so much fun.
Yeah, and I think you'll feel as your career moves forward, you'll feel it, and Chad can attest to that. It's like every gig you play, there's going to be a pocket full of shiprockers, and then the more successful you get and the bigger your shows get, the more Shiprock guests you'll see, and then they'll come up and tell you they were on Shiprock and they saw you the first time on Shiprock, and we get those stories a lot. It's a whole Shiprock guests are they are the biggest music fans, and they go out, they travel, they go to festivals, small shows, big shows, and everything in between. So they're super loyal to the bands that they share that experience with, and that's what it is. You go out and have a beer with them in the casino, it's like they're fans for life, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So many other bands. That's what a lot of other bands were telling us too. Is like, because when we did, because I think when we went out with Bad Flower had done it, World Tusk had done it. I think.
I went with a lot of bands who've done it before. I mean, I'm looking at the list. 68. I mean, I don't know if it was at that time they had done it, but Dead Poet Society, Pop Evil, right? Yeah, I mean, at least those. I don't know if you toured with Papa Roach, but that's another one. You mentioned
we played like a one-off with them, but it's like they all echoed the same statement. They're like, listen, you go on that boat and those people are going to be fans for life. And that's true, because there's a lot of shows we played. I would say specifically when we were out with Bad Flower, it was pretty prevalent. Like people were, I want to say like not one show went by where somebody wasn't like, when are we going to see you on Shiprock? Like all these fans, like I said, discovered them on Shiprock, like we're coming to every single show. And then it's funny because I remember when we got the offer to do it, I was at a Bad Flower show in Toronto.
Funny.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So Justin, we've had you for almost an hour. We don't want to take up too much more of your time. Thank you so much for being here with us. We appreciate it. Like I said, we'll shoot this thing out on Monday. So we'd like to close. We're going to have you walk the plank, and I'm not even going to explain what that is. I think you'll figure it out. And then Chad has a question from last week's guest that will be directed towards you, and then we'll ask you to create a question for next week's guest. So we'll explain that as we go. But in order to walk the plank, I want to ask you, if you had to live as an animal for 1 year, what animal would you choose and why?
Oh, this is a good question. Okay, well, right now, actually, this is relevant to my neighborhood. I'd probably get rid of the coyotes for a year, because they're eating all the dogs in my neighborhood.
So you'd have to live like one, though. So you'd have to be the coyote for a year.
Oh wait, you said if you had to live. Oh, I thought you said you had to lose.
You had to live. You have to. Okay,
we
so you
now
want to
know who you fucking hate, though.
Fuck coyotes. He will not. If I had to kill a species, I would fucking kill coyotes for you.
Dude, our biggest fans are coyotes, dude. You're fucked.
There's so many fucking coyotes in my neighborhood now. Like I can't. My dog. It's like such a big deal with my dog. So like that. So if I had to lose one, that would be the one. But if I had to live like one, well, that's a very good question.
Now you're walking the plank, my friend.
Well, it's like the, like the man in me wants to say like a lion, but then like the kind of more like I guess like the more like maybe some sort of bird or something too, because I want to know what it's like to fly. You know what I'd be? I'd be a great white shark. That's what I would be.
You went from a lion to a bird to a shark,
Yeah,
in the matter of like 4 seconds.
I think a great white shark would be crazy, because you're an apex predator. Like, who's fucking with the great white shark? You know what I mean? Yeah. Also, it's metal as fuck. Like, you're a fucking great white shark. And also, I think it'd be cool to like, you get to discover the ocean. Like, we don't know anything about the ocean, and like you're just gonna get to swim around. Maybe you get to see like, there's like krakens or something like that, or like huge beasts that we don't even know exist. It's basically like, alien territory down there. I think it'd be really cool.
Great white shark, Chad. There you go.
Yeah. Also,
all right. Walking the plank, continuing to walk the plank.
What villain do you secretly cheer for?
Ooh. Who's it? Oh man, that's a really good question. Also, on it. Ooh, this is gonna be a controversial one.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I don't get like in trouble for saying this, but like Thanos had some good points. Okay. All right. He was like half has to go for the other half to thrive, and in theory. I think he was misunderstood. I think he thought what he was doing was actually for the greater good of the universe. I think his obviously, it's savage, there's like mass murder and all that kind of stuff. But but I think that his intentions were good to start out with. He took the pain, he sacrificed his daughter. He did all this shit, because he thought it was a selfless act, He thought what he was doing was really going to be it was going to be
revolutionary.
Revolutionary. Obviously, he didn't consider like the loss and people like losing their families and all this kind of stuff. But I think his intentions were good, and I stand by that.
Respect.
I respect. I love it. So last week we had Winston McCall from Parkway Drive was our guest last week, and he was awesome. And go ahead, Chad. He had a question for this week's guest, which is you, my friend.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because it leans into your first answer.
It does.
I was like, oh shit, this is great.
It totally does.
So Winston's question was, all right, you get to pick one. Option A, which is fight a bear, or option B, which is fight a shark. And he's thinking like Mortal Kombat style, like you drop into a stage and there it is. Who would you go against, or what would you go against?
Well, I'm assuming if you're fighting the shark, you got to be underwater, right?
Sure, that could be the level for sure.
Or is this a land shark? Because if it's got legs, that's another story.
It's got to be got to be ocean, because specifically these questions were directly after us talking about his love of the ocean and surfing. So.
Yeah, good point.
Then I would say you probably fight the bear, because like at least like it's in your environment. Like if you're in the water, you're immediately going down. You're in the sharks. That's its territory. You can't fight a shark underwater. Like I feel like with a bear, if you're gonna drop in, I mean, we're talking a grizzly here. Like you're gonna get, but the grizzly might give up. You play dead. You try to protect the vital organs. You put your face in the ground. Cover your neck, do the thing. Maybe you'll get away, like badly banged up. I think the shark is just because not only like are you're gonna die like when the shark is gonna attack you. It's gonna bite you. You're gonna bleed out and you're gonna drown at the same time.
Yeah, the drowning is the worst part to me. I think is fucking terrifying.
This whole concoction where like the bear, you might get there's people that have survived. I mean, there's people that have survived both, but I feel like if I was gonna choose one to like eat me, I'd probably choose the bear. Yeah, I just feel like if we're gonna get morbid about it, I feel like.
Do you think that the bear would be the choice because of the smaller mouth?
But maybe that's why you choose it. Maybe
claws, though.
I know, but the mouth, the thing that is like the thing he's trying to get, a bear's trying to get you in his mouth, is he not? Isn't he trying to get his teeth into you?
Probably like clawing you, and like you can't outrun the thing. It's so fat. You can't climb a tree. You're screwed.
Yeah.
You can't climb a tree. No, you can't.
Have you seen videos of them run up trees? They're like fucking like the Flash. Like they just zip up it. Like it's crazy.
I think pretty wild.
Okay.
Good choice. All right. So what do you want to ask?
Yeah. What's your question for our next guest?
I'm all stumped.
Oh, by the way, you don't get to know who it is. That's the cop.
Yeah, you won't know who the next guest is. So
just like he didn't know.
Yeah, we need you to provide a question for our next guest.
I have like so many ridiculous ones that like are gonna take too long to explain, but maybe I'll give like
those
something.
Are the best ones.
Let's go with something simple, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe like if you were a pirate, what eye would you wear the patch over? And what shoulder would you have the parrot on?
All right. I love that.
That's like the dumbest, best one we've ever gotten.
Yeah, for sure.
I love it. And simple. And by the way, he had no time to think. He's like top of head. Like, hey, what's your question for the guy next week? What if you were a pirate? Like immediately.
I've been wondering this for a long time.
Something profound, but like, come on. fun in that, you know?
Yeah, seriously, this is great. So I wrote it down as if you were a pirate, which eye would you wear the patch on, and which shoulder would you wear your parrot on?
Yeah.
Right?
I think that's cool.
Yeah, these are the questions that we need to know. We need to get answers to. I love it.
Yeah.
Justin, thanks, man. Thanks for joining us this week. We appreciate it, man. It's been a pleasure getting to know you and chatting with you a little bit. And like I said earlier, man, I'm excited for your future and the band's future. And I think you're just onto it, man. Just keep grinding, and I expect big things for you guys, and I'm excited for you.
Oh, well, thanks, man. Thanks for having me here. Thanks for having us on Shiprock. This has been a lot of fun. So yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, Chad, thanks for letting me be here, man.
My pleasure. It was very nice to chat with you. Al, it was very nice to chat with you, and Justin, you too. Thanks for being here, man.
Thanks, you guys. We appreciate you, man. See you, boys. Take care.
Bye.